The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today from Atlanta, Georgia, eXp Realty, Jamie Parker. Jamie, how are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, same here, buddy. I appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to ask the same question I ask most everybody, then we'll get into you. Were you the kid at 5 years old tugging on your parents' pant leg, saying, hey, mom, dad, how do I get into real estate? Or are you like the rest of us where we kind of fell back into it?
The rest of us kind of fall back into it.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
Long story short, my background's in education. So 3 degrees in education, 1 from Georgia State, and then 2 from the 2-time in a row national champion University of Georgia Bulldog. Yeah, I taught in the public schools for 17 and a half years and did real estate as a side hustle for 7 of those 17 and a half. Really got into real estate when I bought my second house or third house. And one, I'd seen like how much my real estate agent made. And at the time, my thing, oh man, all he did was stick me in this car, because he actually still went in somebody's car at that point. All he did was stick me in the car and showed me a few houses, and he made $10,000. I was like, wow, that's like takes me 3 months to make $10,000.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize. And then he told me he was making over $100,000 a year. I was like, wow, like from a teacher mindset, that's like not even like comprehensive.
That's a real deal.
Right. And then I'd gone to a church event, and they were just basically saying, if you're not making enough for your partner or your spouse to stay home, then you should think about a career change. So I'd already been thinking about like real estate and doing some stuff in that. And, even though that's a very traditional viewpoint, so to speak, what they were telling us at the church class, but it did get me thinking. And I'd always done a little bit of a side hustle with different things. And even from when I was in 7th grade, I sold my baseball cards to buy a Nintendo. So I was always collecting cards, and so I'd always kind of like had that like side hustle mentality. And so yeah, I just decided to get into real estate and sold 1 house my first year and like 4 houses my second year, just to people I knew, and kind of rolled from there. So that's kind of what got me started. I got my license about 8 months after my daughter was born. And so with lots of stuff going on, new baby, teaching school and doing real estate, so yeah. we were and I started in 2007.
Oh, great timing.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Hey, everybody. Hey, where'd everybody go? We're leaving.
Well, you know what? So, I learned really quickly that I was a great buyer's agent, because there were no listings. It was 2008. Everything was crashing, right? So, unless you're an REO agent, you didn't get listings. So I learned how to be a great buyer. And at the time, for those of us who are old enough, been in this for a while, we had HUD homes. Right. And so I would go on, a lot of them would end at midnight. I'd stay up, and back in the day, they paid 5% commission. So I'm thinking, even if some of the homes in Atlanta, we bought some of these homes for $70,000, guys. I mean, seriously, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, like 4-bedroom homes, wow. For that price. And crazy. But we would get a 5% commission. So think about that, right. 5% on a even $80,000 home, that's $4,000. And I was making $3,000 a month teaching. So to me, it was like, wow, I'm making up. So I just learned how to win those HUD homes. And that's kind of in 07, 08, 9, and then through 10 and 11, that's pretty much what I did, as I just helped people get into HUD homes, help people get those foreclosures, and put on them, and just learned how to win.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a good story. So let's talk about today. We've talked about kind of how you got started and made that, what I think is a very brave move. You jump into something that, was a hobby or a side hustle, and you say, hey, I'm doing this full time. So tell me about today. Are you a solopreneur? Are you on a team? How does that look right now?
Yeah, so I would say I'm an entrepreneur. So I do have multiple businesses, but as far as my real far as my real estate business goes, I am a one-man show. So it's me, and then I have a transaction coordinator. So like more virtual. I don't have an official, I don't have anybody on salary. I don't have anybody like that, but I do have people that help. I have a couple of folks that are in the background that help me out. And I have someone I use to help me with my marketing, with my CRM, as well, bring in ideas. He works with a lot of other top agents, just bringing in ideas. And and I do have a coach. I just started with a coach, and I've done that in the past, but just bringing in another coach just to kind of stay focused, because being
for sure,
easy
to get off track sometimes. And
it is easy to get off track. It is easy to get off track, because I also own a music store, and we also publish a magazine for our community. So lots going on. So
I can talk about the music store forever.
I know we could
just switch this right now. Let me
I know y'all go to AtlantaStringShop.com, AtlantaStringShop.com, y'all can
check that out, man. Is that like vintage? Here I go. I'm not gonna stop.
So it's funny. I ended up kind of like, I don't want to say stumbling into that, but so back in 2009, I was an orchestra teacher, and I sold the owner of that shop a house and a country club. And that was like my biggest sale today. I think it was like $580,000. I never had seen, he literally moved in across the street from one of the Atlanta Falcons players. So, fast forward, that was like 2008, 9, or 10, something like that. Fast forward, 12, 15 years later, he's ready to, or 20 years actually, he's ready to sell the business. He's ready to get out. And I got kind of heard about it. And so I approached him. I was like, if you wanted to sell the retail side, I'd be interested in it. So I did all the checking out. We ran the numbers by the CPA, but basically the cost of buying an investment property, if we all know, if we're investors, you have to put 20% down, right?
Right.
But for the equivalent money down of buying an investment property, I was able to buy a business that had the potential to make more every month than I would get on a profitability and on a rent, on a long-term rental. That's what made sense to me. And so, we've been, it's been definitely a learning curve. We opened during COVID. Closed on it in March of 2020.
Your timing on everything is
we closed on it and had to shut down, but it's a passive income model,
right?
Where you rent instruments out, and so we rent instruments out every year. We have 20,000 orchestra students within an hour of our shop, so we have a pretty good base of folks. So that's what we're so that kind of stumbled into that, but so I've learned a lot about ordering from overseas and tariffs and all things I didn't think.
All those things we need to know. That's awesome, exactly. Man. But that's fantastic. So let's put our prognostication hats on, and see if we can't predict the future, or maybe crystal ball or something. I doubt it. They don't work anyway. But tell me about what the next 1, 3, and 5 years look like for Jamie, and what's the plan there, and how do you plan on achieving it?
For this year, we're already off to a great start. It's very, very grateful for that. So, one of the purposes of bringing in the coach was just to kind of help me, give me a little bit more accountability. I mean, just to have someone to talk to is just really big in and of itself. Just to have someone that you can run ideas by, and that's accessible. Sometimes coaches, you only get them 30 minutes a week, and you can't text them in the middle of everything. She's not one of those. So I can text her whatever, and she responds, and that kind of thing. So, over the next year, obviously I want to hit icon again. That to me, so this is just how I'm run. Some people, they run with, I've got to see my numbers. I made $300,000 in 2020, which means I need to make $400,000 in 21 or 5, that doesn't really speak for me personally. So, I mean, everybody, you got to know how you're wired. For me, being an icon agent with EXP, what really, I'll be honest with you, all that matters to me every year is that I hit icon.
Okay.
Because I know if I hit it, the money's going to be okay. The money's going to be, and so that's really what matters to me. For me personally, I don't have any aspirations to have a jet or a yacht or drive a Lamborghini. I'm not wired that way. So for me, it's all about It's all about having experiences. If I can travel,
Right.
I can take my kids, I can go on great
That's
vacations
great.
with my wife. That's all I care about. Everything else, I don't need stuff. You know,
Yeah.
if you, my house is I really don't have a lot of stuff. I don't
Right.
need a lot of stuff because I'd rather experience life. So, you know, over the next year, obviously that my 1 year goal and every year goal from here on out is make sure that I'm hitting icon. You know, make
There
sure
you go,
every year
man.
that's just a given. Done it the last 4 years, and you know, I'm already off to a great start this year.
Super
And then
reasonable.
moving forward, you know, expanding into other markets, into another market. So I'm definitely looking probably this year to get my license in another state and
Gotcha.
go ahead and expand out into that area. And you know, the great thing about real estate is you can be pretty much wherever if you know how to
Sure.
leverage. If
Right.
you know how to leverage things, then you can be wherever you want to be. And so, you know, one of the things, you know, next 3 years, you know, hey, maybe I'm not the one out showing houses. You know, already I utilize a showing agent system. I don't have a team, but the beautiful thing about how our system is, you know, if there's a house 2 hours away and someone wants to go look at it, man, I can pay somebody to go open the door and then I handle the contract on the other end, because that's really what we got to realize is where our value is to our clients is not in opening the door and showing them the house. That's not our value, because anybody
Right.
can do it. You know,
Sure.
my 16-year-old daughter could do that. She loves houses. She could go in there and do a great tour of a home, but it's really the negotiating part and what happens
Right.
behind the scenes that's where we make our money. You know, and a great example, if I'm going off on a tangent, just let me know. But
No, man, this is your show.
okay.
Got
So,
it. Yeah.
well, yeah, last night we got an offer accepted. I got a text about 9:30 last night. Why did we get the offer accepted? And I'm going to tell my client this today. Our offer was not the best offer. I mean, our offer was not the highest net to the seller. So what had happened, we ended up in a multiple offer situation. Yes, there's still multiple offers. I know you guys have heard there isn't, but this is a $270,000 home for a first-time buyer. But actually, they were at $264,900. So, and it's relatively new, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. So for some of you in California, you're like, what? $264,000? That's not a very expensive home. But
Right. That's my taxes on a house.
you get a 2x5 room for that in California. But
right.
We ended up in a multiple offer type situation, and the other agent was really open with me. She was like, hey, we've got an offer that wasn't asking closing costs. The other offer doesn't have closing costs and doesn't have the contingencies. So I was like, oh man, I mean, my guy's first time home buyer, FHA loan, getting some money from dad, you know, and
right.
you know, I was like, I just told her something. We just can't. This is it. We don't have any more money. This is all we can do. But I kept on her. I kept like, hey, we have great financing. We're using a great lender. He's 23 years old. He's first time buyer. Dad's selling. You know, I kind of gave her the whole story. Maybe said facts tell, story tell, right? And so we ended up winning. And the other offer flaked out. And then they got another offer in. We offered, I think, 270, and then other offer came in at 276 with no closing costs, and we were 270 with 5,000 in closing costs. He still picked our offer because of our tenacity. The other agent was like, hey, you know what? You wanted this for your client, and my seller saw how much you wanted it for your client. And even though he's not going to make as much money, he chose you because of how communicative I was with the other agent.
Nice.
And so, you know, that's the thing we have to do, you know, and we also have to have the mindset, you have to expect to win. You know, I don't go into any of these things and not expect to win. I expect to win all the time. So
you should. That's the right mindset.
Yeah,
for sure. You should do a whole segment you should do a whole coaching on mindset.
Yeah.
That's such a big part of all this, right?
It's really what separates those who do and those who don't, you know.
Love it. So how would someone get in touch with you, Jamie, whether they wanted to, you know, find out more about the Atlanta market, or maybe they want to buy, list, or maybe even join forces with Jamie, join his downline, come work for him, whatever it might be. How would they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So my cell phone number is 404-483-7816, or you could go 8044-ROCKIN, ROCKIN, and whatever those numbers are in Rockin'. Yeah, on the Google Voice
John
number.
Cougar Mellencamp song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stay in the, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, they can reach me. Of course, you go on rockinagent.com, ROCKIN agent.com. If you want to look for music stuff, Atlanta Strings Shop. So Atlanta Strings, STRINGS shop, SHOP.com for all things music. We do everything in the store. We do violins, violas, cellos, and basses, but we can do guitars, amps, mics, everything under the sun. For music we can do for that. But that's how they get in touch.
You mean Silver Sun?
That's right.
Most people aren't going to know what those are. I came from a music family as well. So
okay.
My dad, when he passed away this past March, had over 35, this is crazy, 35 Les Paul guitars.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you inherited like a small fortune.
No. My stepmom still has them, and I don't know what's going to happen quite frankly.
Okay, well,
that is a small fortune though, and we'll see what happens. I'm not that type, give me. I'm not that type, but
right.
Nice. Maybe just give me one of them. Just give me one.
Right.
That Starburst one, maybe, that's so popular.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jamie, something I always do with folks on the show, I always give them the final word. Like I said, you're the hit record. I'm just the DJ spinning it. Take us out with something good, a positive note about business, family, your cats, or whatever you like. Just take us out on something positive.
Yeah. So one of the things I would tell you is you gotta focus on what you're passionate about. And so what I've realized that I'm passionate about, I love selling real estate, I love helping people, but I also realized, and we don't have time for this on this show, but I also realized through different events that have happened to me over the last few years, that you find out what you're really passionate about. So I'm really passionate about ministry and about helping people. Okay. Nice. So one of my icon classes has been love yourself to production. And maybe for those of you who are voting on shareholders, you could vote for me.
There you go.
To get it. I spoke last year at shareholders and we're EXPCon. But so one of the things we've even done some group coaching on, love yourself to production. How do you, doing a challenge? How do you love yourself? What is the secret sauce? So my amazing wife, we actually, she's a therapist, and we've actually developed this curriculum around how you love yourself to be a high producer. That's something I'm really passionate about. I've been able to do that for, as a ministry at church. We've had some groups and stuff that we've had literally people from all around the world. We have people all the way from Tanzania to Nigeria to Scotland to England to the US, all involved in our challenge and our ministry. And so, and just to see the growth, oh my gosh, the growth was like incredible. Like to see where people started at and to see where they finished at. Even today, I was just talking to somebody who was part of our challenge, and they were like, yeah, I did my gratitude today. I was like, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about making lasting change in people. So one of the things that I'm passionate about, it's great to sell a lot of houses and it's great to
right.
You get to be an icon, you get to be in Real Producers, you get to be on this show or that show, or, but really what is it? I like to say, what kind of a legacy are we leaving behind? What kind of a legacy are we leaving and what kind of an impact when we leave? What kind of an impact are we leaving? And so my goal is to leave an impact. I mean, it's not just real estate. It's not just leaving a legacy for my kids, being a realtor is kind of ensured that that's already taken care of with what's already happened. But, what kind of legacy are we going to leave in our community? What kind of legacy are we going to leave on people around the world? We have a platform where we can make an impact and we can make a difference. So my thing is, what is it that you're passionate about? If you're listening to this, what are you passionate about? What is it that, like, if you didn't have a job, or think if you didn't have to sell homes, what would you do all day? Like, if there was, what would you do? I mean, I'm sure, Timothy, you love interviewing me. I'm sure, you're having a great time, but I mean, if you weren't getting paid for this, what would you do today? What would be the thing? You can answer or not, but what would be
there's a beach right there. There's a beach right there I go to pretty regularly. I would probably live on that beach with my little submarine that I go underwater, and I would probably stay underwater a lot of the time. Okay. That's what I would be doing.
Amen. See, that's what you would do, you know. So for me, I would be traveling around the world and doing like mission trips and be doing
Love
stuff that, and it's not always religious mission trips. There's trips we've gone you could go build a school, you could go help an orphanage, you could go do all these things. And so it's just that's what I would, you know, if I didn't have to go sell houses, or I didn't have to, if I could just wake up and choose what I wanted to do every day.
Right.
You know, here's the cool thing. If you develop something, and real estate can help you with that. If you do, you can develop something that does give you that freedom, that does give you, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been on vacation and had houses go under contract, you know, because it's not reliant on me being in one location at all times. So you can develop that. But that, for me, that would be what I would leave with you. Do what you're passionate about, figure out a way, figure out what is your vehicle to help you to get to what you're passionate about. It could be, if you're watching this, it's likely real estate, but it could be something else. What is your vehicle that's going to help you do? So when you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, I get to go do this today. And what if I got to do this every day? What if this was just what I do? You know, so that's what I want to encourage you. That's what I'm.
Sage advice, Jamie. I love it. I love it. Jamie Parker, Atlanta, Georgia, EXP Realty. Thank you so much for being on the program. I look forward to catching up with you over the next 3, 6, 9 months. See how things are going. Maybe even see you. I don't know if you're going to be in Orlando in May.
I will be there.
I will be there, and I will.
Hopefully, I'll be a speaker. Hopefully, vote for me, guys.
There you go.
If this gets out, if this gets put out there before the voting's over.
Have a wonderful weekend, Jamie. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you.
God bless.